And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for the Lakers Fast Break Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. If you're able to, Josh and I uploaded an episode on the Pop Culture Cosmos on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast with our fall movie preview. Plus, we talk Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice having a Beetlejuice kind of weekend, the failure of Concord, and more. Plus, if you're checking out the Pop Culture Cosmos YouTube page, where you should like and follow, you'll also catch another conversation that I had with the guys from the Super BS Gamescast as we talked even more about Concord, talked about Astrobot, talked about all the stuff that's going on in the gaming world and more. So go ahead and check it out today, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, as well, of course, Inside Sports, Fantasy Football, the aftermath of Week 1 in the NFL will cover for you this week on this latest episode. Plus, we will talk about how so many people missed out on some big-name quarterbacks because they went into a different direction. I saw a lot of big-name quarterbacks on both my waiver wires this weekend, so we'll go ahead and discuss that, plus everything football-related as well. Plus, of course, Joe Soro's here. He is the man behind Oxide 247 at LakersBall.com, and, of course, Simblades. Simblades with a Y.com. And before I give anyone else a shout-out, I got to give our members a big shout-out for you guys. Sports Baby, Richard, Bloodhound, Xbox, the big shout-outs for you as our members. Just $2.99 a month, and you will get shout-outs from me on the Lakers Fast Break shows that I host, and you get special access, exclusive access to emojis, badges, little notes from me, and more. So go ahead and check it out. Just $2.99 a month, right there for you as far as the membership is concerned. And of course, big shout out to John Costa, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. Thanks for him for stopping on by on Friday. I know he's got some other stuff coming up for Lakers Corner and Clutch Talk. Also, as well, the Lakerholics crew. No Laker Tom, but we did have Jamie Sweet and Michael Heinrich. Hopefully, we'll have them back all together on next week's show. So we'll wait and see. But Lakerholics.com for your info there. Also, as well, Empire Chef TV, Lakers in 5, and of course, John McCalian channel and Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Yo, support all these great channels. Please like, subscribe. We're all working hard. But you know what? Do what Joe and I need you to do, because he is not happy that we went back under 1,800 subscribers. We go from 1,799 to 1,801 to 1,800, 1,798. Flip-flops back and forth, but you can help us out by liking and subscribing to everything that we do right here, the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Well, amidst all the non-news that's going on in Lakers land right now, one thing has come up in the past few days, and that is injury concerns for the Lakers as they head and get closer and closer to training camp. One of the injuries we reported on last week was Jared Vanderbilt, who may, according to Mike Bresnahan of Spectrum Sportsnet, may be out throughout the entirety of training camp and the exhibition season. Haven't gotten a confirmation on that as yet. And another injury was more confirmed as Christian Wood, his Vengeance Tour has been put on hold because he did have arthroscopic surgery on his knee, and he'll be out for at least 8 weeks before he's back on the court rehabbing it again. So where are we at with the Lakers injury woes? We're not getting off to a good start here, health-wise is concerned, and here today to discuss that very thing is a good man indeed. It is the mastermind behind Simblades, simblades.y.com. The guy that got my email just a few minutes ago. Big shout out to Douglas and Laker Nick. Always great to hear your thoughts at Lakers Fast Break at yahoo.com. It is Joe Soro. And Joe, I don't think after hearing the news, and as you said, you couldn't have put it any better than what Douglas did in his email. He said, F this team, F cool bro, F me. He himself, he meant, not us.
I highly agree with the first two, without a doubt. The third one, I'll support it because he's with it. I guess that I'll support that. I guess I don't know the guy personally, but I'll assume he knows himself, and I'll roll with it. I got a really, really bad virtual smack today from Lakers ball. Yes.
Really?
Someone calling.
That's a rarity.
Yeah, one of the guys basically called me out for being. He said the podcast failed podcast. Although I had to reiterate. We're still doing the podcast. I don't see how we failed.
I don't know how 400,000 views.
I think he was just doing it to get under my skin. I think he got tired of the realism that I was dropping on Lakers ball. But I did respond with
200,000 audio downloads.
Well, I was gonna say it was at 90 when I joined, and now we're at just almost 1,800. I said, I don't. If that's failure, I guess that's failure. But he didn't respond after I had explained that. The other parts were essentially things I've heard for a very long time that are usually Freudian internet doctors type talk. Everyone thinks that they know who I am based off what I say. They think I'm some guy who's in a corner suffering from some insecurity or some unfulfilled aspirations. I guess they can't just figure out that sometimes people just say what's going on, and it bothers people. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt. He's a Lakers ball regular. So I said, look, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to wait till December to comment on any comment he has. And I said, if the Lakers are 10-15 in December, if you think now is bad, you better turn your computer off if you don't want to hear what I got to say. And today was there, or I should say the last couple of days have been the reiteration of exactly what we've been talking about. And you try to find the silver lining, but how are you supposed to find that when all you got is news like this? You have players who continue to do the same thing over and over and over again, much like management doing things over and over and over again. And yet we're supposed to sit here to some and massage each other's bums and pat each other on the back and say, let's go get them anyways, folks.
Well, you talked to me earlier today, and again, Douglas, when you sent me that one,
it was a perfect.
I was laughing for 10 minutes.
It is the perfect email. It really was. If Douglas, you're listening, that is exactly the description of the last 2 days. Seriously, it's.
I just want to say this. I want to say this. You pointed out earlier, though, who's not getting wind of this sooner? Well, I told you that the Lakers reporters are too busy getting married because Dave McMenamin and Malika Andrews, they got married. And now Jovan Buha got married, I believe, this past weekend as well. So they're all distracted. They're all over the place. So now's a good time to go ahead and get all those Lakers injuries news under the radar so that maybe no one will notice. Well, guess what? Today we noticed, Joe.
And even if they were available, almost everyone in the media now are handcuffed. Because if they're not handcuffed, they're going to be ostracized. And that's the kind of system they've created. It's very totalitarianisms. I know that's not a real word, but I don't want to turn this into a social discussion, but in terms of their operation, anytime there's been someone that's criticized them, being critical, or maybe bringing out some news that they didn't want out, all of a sudden they end up getting cut from the inner circle. And for some weird reason, the Laker fandom doesn't understand this. And the reason why they don't is because they've allowed this to happen. We've allowed fakeness to determine what is quality based off of feelings or hope, empty hope, whatever it is. We didn't predict that Christian Wood would have some arthroscopic knee surgery. We didn't predict that Vando would be injured already this year. But what we did predict subtly is that these guys aren't going to do jack shit for this team. So it's irrelevant why or where or when. It's just now it's like kind of stamped. It's September 9th. Training camp starts in 2.5 weeks. And you now already have whom would have played at least a backup role to help AD rest, maybe, and the guy that's supposed to be your number one defender, besides AD, obviously, the perimeter-wise. And now you're not going to likely have those guys to start the season. Why? I don't know. Something happened, or someone made a decision late when they should have done it early. Who knows? It doesn't matter. All that matters in the end here, guys, is the results. And the results are going to hit you hard, fast, and permanently. While we're not going to say, we told you so, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to say it. I will never say, I am not going to say, we're going to be here to tell you that. No, you guys just decide what you want on that. What I'm going to say is, you watch. And then when things start to develop, we're going to do the play-by-play. And it's going to be, God help all of you who are sitting on your hope, because we're going to tear that hope into shreds. And you're going to sit there and either quit or you're going to watch. And I don't give a shit which one you do. You're still going to hear it. And that's how I feel right now.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It's a snack pack for you. It's Gerald Glassford. Come right back at you here, along with Joe Sorrell. I actually do care if you watched. It would be nice if you watched and kept listening and didn't quit on us, no matter how bad the rants get. But of course, it will get bad. We will say we told you so when the time comes, if that happens. It is Gerald Glassford. And to clarify, Joe, as of right now, because it's real-time updating, we're 415,000 views on this channel and 209,000 audio downloads. We're in the top 250 basketball shows on Apple Podcasts as of right now in the United States, and other markets were actually even higher up on the food chain. So you could tell that person what it is. I can show them all the stats if they want. So I have the stuff right now on standby if you want. It's just letting you know. Just thought I'd let you know. And that's because of you guys and gals out there that listen to our show. It is immensely appreciated. So don't quit on us, even if we tell you these things that we think is going to happen. We don't want the Lakers to lose. We don't want bad things to happen to the Lakers, Joe. But with the way that things are setting up now, from the way that we saw that there was no real movement in the roster, the only thing that was done really was the drafting of Dalton Connect and the re-signing of Max Christie to that elevated contract, which they really didn't need to do at that high a price. No, I'm not counting Bronny, nor should you at this point in time. It doesn't look good because, Joe, we've been saying for weeks, I've been saying for weeks, you've been saying for weeks that after man number 5, there's a lot of question marks on the depth of this roster. And with Jared Vanderbilt now hurt and Christian Wood now having surgery, that depth just got a little bit worse.
Correct. So let's see what the solutions are here. What this will likely produce is more minutes for Max Christie, whom won't be able to guard the elite. I mean, no one really can guard elite small forwards or even power forwards, which more like are
But he's
SPFs now.
slight of build in the
He's
first
slight of
one.
build. He hasn't really put a lot of weight on from what I've seen. A little bit, I think I heard, but not a lot. But you also have to have some kind of lateral athleticism that's going to make sense too. I have to keep saying this, guys. The NBA basketball players that are at a elite athletic level are just, you have no idea how freakish these guys are. And if you're not going to be able to stay in front of these guys, there's two things in the NBA that are just amazing. The fact that you have 6'8" guys that can jump out the building and move like deer. And then the other is a elite guard who can control the ball and basically, like, let's say Jamal Murray is an example. Do you have any idea how good this guy is? He's very good. And you're asking guys like Max Christie and guys like Vanderbilt, when they are healthy, it's already difficult to do that job, let alone not be available and not be focused and not be ready. And now you have to.
Sports Baby's saying they'll be back at the start of the season. We don't know that. That's the time frame, according to Mike Bresnahan on Jared Vanderbilt. Says there's a great possibility he'll be gone the entire exhibition season and training camp, which would have him start getting back up to speed at around the start of the season. And with 8 weeks for arthroscopic surgery before you can really get back into the swing of things, Joe, it might be game 10 or 15 before these guys get back into this really, really contributing for this team.
You already start the season. So if it's 8 weeks, you're talking about you're probably 2.5 weeks in, because the games start. A lot of people, I don't know if you remember, games start much earlier now. They don't start November 1-ish. They start like at October
Earlier.
2025, right? It doesn't. You cannot. You didn't improve the team other than one draft pick, which was given to you by another team, by the way. They decided, look, we'll give you this one, right? It wasn't even their choice at that moment before it became theirs, right? They've done nothing to improve the areas that need to be improved. And to top that off, they didn't really improve kind of what the coaching. Did they improve the coaching? Is the coaching going to make that much of a difference? Because I keep hearing things like JJ Redick is innovative. I'm curious to see what exactly he's going to implement on a basketball court that all these other coaches haven't. Is he Mike D'Antoni-esque in bringing some kind of an offense that we don't know will transform the NBA? I was trying to really think about. It's hard because you don't have any basis off what that would be. He's never coached. He's never been an assistant. So what exactly is he going to do? He's a talker. He's not an X's and O's guy from what I've seen. So is he going to tap into that mindset that's going to make players better? I'm not hearing anything. We're not hearing anything. It's as quiet as a dead person's house. It's just nothing's out there. We don't know. There's no developments of anything. So we're going to have to wait. And we're not going to know during training camp, right? Because not everybody's going to play. No one's going to really take those games seriously. So when is it? When are we going to start taking this seriously? So I'll give it till December.
Well, still, it's so bad right now, Joe, that the Lakers can't even get people there might be interested in to come to training camp, with news that Chetty Osman, who I'd mentioned last week as a possibility, give him an exhibit 10, take a look at him, see if he might be someone that might actually stick on the roster. he has decided to play overseas than go to training camp with the Lakers. So
yeah, he
that's
picked Greece over LA, which I'm not really faulting him for that.
no, because it's
If
more money,
if you've been to LA the last few years,
most likely.
I mean, that should tell you a lot.
Yeah.
That should tell you a lot that you have players now that are just saying, you know what, I don't need this headache to be around these kind of things. And I think and there's some damage control there, minute but damage control nonetheless, where it was just a rumor that he turned down the Lakers to go to Greece. I don't know why you would deny that. I don't see any point in worrying about anything like that. But yeah, even their run of the mill, even the run of the mill talent out there doesn't want to play in LA. But everyone's enamored about numbers. People can't wait for the father-son game. They can't wait for LeBron to score 50,000 points. This is the stuff I'm reading now. And of course, the 400 different posts about who's better, him or Jordan, you know. When you run out of the title line, the only thing left is to create this flowers and candy kind of thing where you're look at this guy, he's playing in his 22nd season. Yet he's supposed to be the greatest of all time. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna really get that ever. And we have to sit here and watch a product that we all know isn't going to compete, yet you're paying players like you are, and you're stuck in that purgatory that will never end.
And the fact that we have a roster essentially backed up to a wall, there's very little maneuverability now when you're $50,000 away from the second tax apron. And there's a clear edict by Jeannie Buss to Rob Pelinka saying that this team should not go over the second tax apron in order to try and improve the team, at least not with what assets the Lakers have right now. So it's kind of disappointing on what we can do. So all those trades that are out there now, all those mock trades, all the Laker Toms and other places, other stations, other channels that are asking and trying to tell you, oh man, the Lakers should trade for this, the Lakers should trade for that. Remember, they are very limited on what they can trade for and what they can trade with because of how close they are to the second tax apron and the fact that they only have 2 draft choices. So yes, Jeremy Grant trade could be in play, but who do you give up to get Jeremy Grant? Not going to be Vanderbilt's contract. Who would want him right now? Are you really going to look at Gabe Vincent? He only played 11 total games last year. Can't be Christian Wood. He won't be added on it because he's injured. Your options really come down to Rui and Austin Reeves time and time again. They don't want D'Angelo. Why would you want D'Angelo if you've got Scoot as your point guard right now? How is he going to develop? You put D'Angelo there. So again, whether it's Zach LaVine, whether it's Grant in Portland, Joe, the options in improving this team are really quite limited by what Rob Pelinka has done with this roster already.
I'm trying to figure out some of the stuff I've read. I know it's a leverage pool on Chicago, but if they think they can unload LaVine without dropping a couple of firsts, you guys
or
are
Time Lords.
mind.
Do you want? Okay, let me ask you this, Joe. Whose knees do you want? Do you want Time Lord's knees, or do you want Zach LaVine's knees? They're both pretty shaky.
We talked about this a few months back. It has nothing to do with the talent acquisition. It's about draft capital.
Mm-hmm.
I make the LaVine trade or the Jeremy Grant trade, which would be talent reasons as well. Jeremy can play.
But those are heavy-duty contracts.
Right. But the Lakers would have to look at that as a draft capital decision. If Chicago came to LA and said, we're going to give you 2 firsts to take on Levine's contract, and then we'll take this player, that player, I do it. You're not going anywhere, folks. The Lakers are not competing this year. I know you got the false sense of hope last year when the Lakers kept taking the lead against Denver and then getting bounced. Because I know I already hear it. Well, if Jamal Murray doesn't make if, everything's an if. It's not about ifs, folks. It's about what's happening.
Because the Nuggets fans are saying the same thing about them. Oh, if we could have just, in that fourth quarter against Minnesota, things have gone the right way, we would have handled Dallas in that finals and then gone on to probably beat Boston. That's what I'm hearing now coming out of Denver.
Yeah, sure, they would have beat Boston. Okay. The reality is what it is. The results do not lie. So you can sit there and you can argue, hate, disparage, talk about negativity all you want. And it works. It does work because people care so much about what others think. And they'll retract and they'll apologize and they'll go back into the cocoon and start yapping behind the scenes about how their feelings were hurt and they don't understand me and all that garbage, all that weak, pussy ass shit. Sorry, I couldn't say it any other way.
How could
when
you?
In fact, the results are right there in front of you. You do not employ LeBron James and Anthony Davis to lose 8 out of 9 playoff games in 2 seasons. Wake up. Folks, wake the F up. For those of you who are listening for the first time or who hate what we're saying, wake up. You do not employ LeBron James. You keep telling me this. You as in the world. Oh, look, this guy scores 50,000 points if he does this year. You guys are saying this. I'm not saying it. I mean, I knew he was going to get 50,000 this year, but that's because I don't have a life. I know stats like that. I read them, okay? But I'm not out saying, hey, guys, who's excited about back in March where LeBron could get 50,000 points? Who's excited? No. It's about this. It's the ring.
It's always
not an AFC championship ring or a Western Conference champion. I'm talking about a world championship ring. And for those of you who don't consider the NBA champion as a world champion, you need to go wherever the LeBron lovers are going to. Okay? This is the #1 league in the world. It's the world champ. There's no better basketball team on the planet than the Boston Celtics right now. Because it's an accumulation of the best talent on the planet all in one area, right? I don't consider international basketball that kind of, it's a different result. It's not, I don't want to say it's not even, but it's just, it's not, it doesn't work like that. It's just like soccer in America. Soccer, U.S. are not going to win a World Cup anytime soon. So it's very important to, oh, by the way, thanks for reminding me, Mark. I got to take a shot for Darren.
Darren, yes. He's still about.
It's coming.
Well, hold on. I wanted to say you said 50,000 points. He's about 9,600 away. 9,500. Yeah.
No. This is for playoffs included.
Oh, if you include playoffs. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. That's there you go. Okay.
So it's not very hard to dissect someone's psyche within all this. When you start to lose the argument, you start finding other things to justify your lame excuse. Right now, the lame excuses is, well, 50,000 points. Well, he's playing in his 22nd season. Well, LeBron still looks like he can jump out the building. Okay, that's nice. That's nice. I saw Jordan dropping 50 points at 42. This isn't something new. And I'm pretty sure if Jordan wanted to play another 3-4 years, he probably could have. What's the point here? I'm not interested in LeBron's legacy. I don't give a damn about LeBron's legacy. I care about the Lakers' legacy. And right now, there are two entities on this team that are destroying it. It won't be destroyed completely. There's just too much cachet there, obviously. 17 championships, greatest owner in sports the last 40 years, 50 years now, almost. But Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka, and LeBron James have turned the Lakers. It was different when it was Jim Buss and that little window. At least that window had an excuse. And the excuse was they had no talent. It was Ryan Kelly's and Tarek Black's and Rob Socrates. Like, you had how are you going to win with those guys? What makes this worse is that you have arguably the greatest player of all time, Anthony Davis, who's in his prime still, and you're still sucking ass. And not only that, your management blows. So it's worse. You've gone through 3 coaches already. In what, 5 seasons? It's just not, and this is, I just feel like we keep going back to the same damn discussion.
Technically 3 and 3 seasons.
It's the same discussion over and over again because they keep doing the same thing over and over again.
But Eric, you say they lack a scouting department. I always hear so much praise coming the way of the Busses, that they did this and they did that and they did this and they did that. So if you tell me, Eric, and I can't say I'm disagreeing with you at all, but if you tell me that they lack a scouting department, and I appreciate always when you're in the chat, my friend, honestly, that should point the finger, Joe, at them primarily. Because if the scouting is a problem, it starts with them.
I don't know what's going on with the scouting, to be honest with you. The Lakers were finding gems in free agency and in the second rounds. The issue, though, is there's no point in having a great scout team if you can't retain the diamonds in the rough. They've retained they haven't retained hardly anyone other than Reeves.
Well, Reeves, THT at the time, they were trying to.
Well, THT was a bust.
But Christie, I was going to add Christie.
Christie is, y'all going to find out who Christie is year to year. I'm not going to keep repeating this, okay? The Lakers had a good run there for a good amount of years, but something changed. Something changed where they're now starting to hit just duds. It's because their focus isn't on developing. I mean, the fact that Rob Pelinka started a new head coaching press conference with, by the way, it's the NBA's a new structure and we got to start. How the hell are you going to draft in the mid-teens, or when you do draft in the second round, you're drafting freaking kiddies who can't even play? How are you going to develop stars? Like, it's just one nonsense thing after another. And yeah, no. Connect was a good pick, but is that really what they tricked everyone? Is that what that is? Is that what that's supposed to be?
It's going to have to be. Alan says, do we think Connect is going to be thrown to the wolves early in the season? If they get one more injury, Alan, there's a possibility.
He's playing a lot now.
He's going to be playing a lot.
Yeah, he is playing a lot now that Vando's not playing, because there's not going to be any point. Choice. He's got the size and the shooting ability. Whether he can, control the ball a little bit, I don't know. We're going to have to see if he worked on that during the offseason. But to put pressure on someone like that in this scenario would be unfair. That's the part where you can say it's unfair. This is a rookie, and rookies do not make those kind of impacts. They just don't. Derek Lively aside and all those guys, yeah, they had good years.
Triple J.
You saw very, very quickly what happens when those guys are neutralized.
But Triple J, Podziemski, I mean, there's some hope, Joe, if you based off of last season. Triple J, Cam Whitmore, Podziemski, Rodell's guys, because he always says such glowing things about him. And I'm being very facetious when I say that, and you know it in his emails. Those three guys played well for their teams. I mean, if there's any silver lining, you may say, okay, yeah, this draft wasn't as deep as other drafts, but maybe the Lakers did find a diamond in the rough. You just got to keep your fingers crossed.
Yes, but guys like Pods, no matter how good he played, guys like Triple J down in Miami, no matter how good they were, they can't carry those teams.
Yeah, the Golden State didn't get into the playoffs. No, Miami was a quick
and that's not out. Their job is to supplement being where they were. And even star players like Victor Wembanyama or Chet Holmgren, they're not at that level. Basketball is very difficult, especially for new guys.
That's a lot to ask, Alan. What if he plays like Donovan Mitchell his first year? That's a lot to ask. Again, I've said it on the show, Alan. You've heard me in recent weeks say, if he plays at a rookie of the year level, that may be something that can keep us competitive in the Western Conference. But that's a very tough ask. Even in a weak draft year, Joe, for a 17th pick to be the rookie of the year, that's a very tough ask for anyone.
Man, if he's in the running for rookie of the year, then this might be one of the worst drafts ever. And that's not that's not a detriment to him, but it's not enough. It won't be enough. It's just not in the cards in the NBA for a rookie to even Shaq his rookie year, and he had a phenomenal rookie year. Even he couldn't take Orlando to the playoffs. It's very hard for rookies to make that jump. I would say it would have to be a unique situation, much like if Detroit had picked Carmelo Anthony instead of that disaster from Europe. You would have had him. I'm positive that Detroit would have beaten the Spurs in 2005. And it would have been very, very likely that Detroit team could have probably won in 2006.
Yeah.
Look at but that situation was very similar to kind of the Kobe thing, but I think that team was a little more ready to win. Whereas you had these top-notch talents going into a team that was already a championship contender, which is very rare usually for a rookie to do. So other than that, what have you had since? You've had the basics. You've had the great rookies and the great players that became what they became, being great rookies in rebuilding type teams. They're just and for Connect isn't that player. He's a role player. He can be a valuable role player. Someone maybe like Austin Reeves in his first year. Well, maybe he can shoot a little bit better, but it's not going to be enough. He will get neutralized when he starts playing the elite teams during the playoffs, and
his defense is the big question mark in many people's eyes, in my eyes. So we'll see how long he can stay on the floor. But if he's
Darko Milicic, that's who it was. I totally forgot who it was for a minute.
If he can get close to 40%, right away, not do too bad when he hits the rookie wall, because they all hit the rookie wall, and then come out of it playing pretty good, then that might be a good sign for the Lakers. But again, that's just a tough ask. You're asking the kid to do something. I know he's an older rookie, Joe, but that's just a tough thing to ask for anyone coming in their first year in the league.
Arguably, well, I don't know if I don't know if this guy's the best rookie ever, but the best rookie season might be Wes Unseld. Wes Unseld won the MVP as a rookie. Most accomplished rookie was Wes Unseld. The greatest rookie I'd say since I've been watching, because I can't go off Magic in '79. I was only 2, maybe 1 actually.
I saw the NBC game.
Best rookie might be Tim Duncan.
Awesome.
Best rookie in 33 years of watching basketball coherently and understanding is probably Tim Duncan.
Really?
Yes. Because he was first team All NBA. He came out the gate guns a-blazing.
He did.
He was that was probably the best. And then a year later, he won a championship.
Sports Baby says $7,000 probably thinks Bronny is the best rookie. Bronny, you should not count Bronny. Again, if I could tell JJ one thing, I'd say second quarter, first game, coming out of the timeout after at the start of the quarter, play Bronny with Dad, get all those vibes, 2 minutes, sit him down, send him to South Bay, and let him play the rest of the year there to let him develop there. The kid's not ready for the NBA game. We saw that clearly as a bell in Summer League. I don't know why you guys even count on him at any part of the rotation this year. I think it's absolutely insane if you do. Dalton Connect has the capability to possibly be a contributor for this team. And if they get any more injuries, Joe, it's going to happen. Otherwise, you are going to get your daily dose of Cam Reddish, Gabe Vincent, Jalen Hood-Schifino, Maxwell Lewis, and that scares absolutely no one to the rest of the NBA. Right? Do you want to hear me say those names again? That's how depressing it is.
From the way it's going right now, we're probably looking at the possibility of G Leaguers possibly starting a few of the games down the road.
Especially if LeBron or AD gets hurt.
And that right there will be the coup de grace, as they say. If LeBron or AD have a significant injury, significant meaning they're out 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to see the floodgates open at that point.
You're going to get your Colin Castleton fix, that's for sure. I mean, everybody out there who still might hold hope that Colin Castleton can be an NBA rotation player, you might get your fix now, Joe, because with Christian Wood out, Jared Vanderbilt out, those are 2 guys with size, or at least height, that are now no longer going to be there for training camp and the exhibition season, possibly even the beginning of the season itself.
I didn't see a lot of improvement, unfortunately, with Castleton in Summer League. There was an instance last year where you saw him have a nose for the ball. A lot of times that's a good instinct to have for a very, very young player. But I didn't see much improvement. It's very unlikely that Castleton will be a contributor in that realm. But with the lack of, what if Jackson Hayes gets hurt? You're not going to have a choice.
Yeah.
You have to get somebody. And that's going to be scary because.
And then now they have to play cap gymnastics, Joe, because if Collins, your only backup with size, they have to bring in someone. And you can't just waive someone because you're still paying their contract. And again, I mentioned they're right there against that second tax apron. So their cap gymnastics will get really crazy if Jackson Hayes or AD gets hurt.
If there's significant injuries by more than 2 or 3 players, we're gonna also have those games where they might only suit up 8 or 9 people. That's how bad it can get.
Do you remember the Cayman game?
I do.
That was
I
awesome.
do remember that
I
game.
was laughing hysterically watching him lie on.
No one believes it until it happens. It's happened, folks. It's
That was
happened in our
crazy.
lifetime, and it's happened recently. It's just not 1973 when the NBA was tape delaying games. This was prime time TV availability.
It was a K-Cow game, I think, to be honest.
Well, K-Cal game or not, it's the Lakers in 2000 were the NBA is since 1984 has been a live national sport, not league. And the fact that you had an LA Laker team where they couldn't suit up enough people, it's a travesty on them to and in their skill sets. It's not good.
It was actually 2013, or was it 2014? Which forgetting the day because it was that season. That's what I'm looking up now, trying to figure it out. It was February 5th, 2014, on the road, and I would know it was at Cleveland. I remember that distinctly.
Yeah, no one wants to go to Cleveland. That's probably played a big part in it. Anytime they would interview Phil Jackson about his coaching availability, I remember back then he'd always throw in a Cleveland comment, like, you know, you'll be coaching, and then all of a sudden you realize I got to take a trip to Cleveland and start thinking twice on whether you want to retire.
Still got to pay them though, Darren. If you waive them, you still have to pay them, even if you stretch it out. The Lakers being so close to that second tax apron, they can't even afford the luxury of waiving and stretching a player, Joe, because if they waive and stretch someone and they still sign with someone, I believe they would still go over. They're that screwed.
I cannot read all 1,400 pages of the CBA. I just don't have that time. I wish I did. But as things start to trickle in more and more, it adds to the fury of how terrible this new collective bargaining agreement is. And it was also that they can sign this $1 billion TV contract. And for what? I mean, even the NFL, Disney, ESPN, they couldn't even show the games today on DirecTV. Now I got other ways to watch the game, which I didn't watch and care really. I did want to watch Aaron Rodgers play, but I knew he wasn't going to have a good game, and it turned out he didn't. The greed at the expense of quality is just mind-boggling to me. And no one is going to fight it because these guys are getting $60 million a year now. And that's how they get you. They don't care. They'll complain, but they don't care. And we're sitting here criticizing again and then still watching. So we're part of that problem. We're still supporting all this either way.
Who was the actual fool? The fool that
we're the fools.
Or the fool that watches the
We're
fool.
the fools. But here's the thing though. The podcast kept me here because I told you before, if the audience wants to watch and listen, then there's an obligation there. I do enjoy this. I'm not saying I don't, but I can honestly say if it wasn't for the Lakers Fast Break podcast and the supporters and people emailing me when I said I was going to bounce and begging me not to leave, I would have watched, I would have followed because, you know, it's still sports, but I would not be watching every game. Because at some point you have to kind of take a stand. I'm not going to go run off like some weenie. I'm not going to watch this ever again. Like all the other quitters and whiners. No, it's not about that. It's about sending a message. But in the end, it doesn't matter. It's all garbage. I'm a nobody. It doesn't matter what I do. So I might as well enjoy what we're doing here.
Once again, it is Joe Soro from Simblades, simbladeswithY.com. He's also Oxide247 at LakersBall.com. So yeah, if you ever talk to him again, just let him know, Joe, that top 250 basketball shows in America. I mean, I could show you the list. We're on
this. No, look.
600,000 combined.
This happens every once in a while. It's the frustration of the truth, and they'll sit there and they'll stay on that.
Demetor, he knows he's a somebody.
They'll stay on that soapbox, and they'll Freudian your whole existence.
Okay.
Based off of your posts. They'll say you're insecure and you're this. Why are you so angry? No matter how many times I keep telling these schmucks, I'm not angry. I'm responding to what I'm watching. So I'm demonstrative. So what? Just because I'm demonstrative doesn't mean I'm pulling my hair out when I sign off. Maybe it's a sociopathic trait. I don't know. The second I get off the show, I go lay down and relax. Not sitting there spewing and stewing and all that crap. So the frustration, let's say, in the moment is winning. It's about winning. And if there's something that does get me hot is when winning is not there, especially when you're being told that that's what we're doing. Because by keeping these guys on this team, you're saying that you're trying to win, yet you're not filling in the blanks. Are you really trying to win, or are you just trying to milk the name? It's I mean, I could sit here and talk about this all day. It doesn't matter. People want to believe what they want to believe. They want to feel the way they want to feel. That's why all these TED Talks and all these books about inner spirits and being positive and all this stupid horse shit that's just constantly being thrown to you. In the end, it's about the results. And when the results aren't there and you're being told that it is, you need to speak up. And you might need to speak up over and over and over again. Today and yesterday, prime examples. They were stamps on everything we've said since draft night. Everything we've said. They were stamps. And if you're not going to understand it now, when are you going to understand it? Do we really have to go through an 88-game season? I don't even know what these idiots have been complaining about too many games, and they added more games. That was the response. Let's play more games then, while people are whining about too many games. Which is it? You're telling me, Roger Goodell, we care about player safety. By the way, we won 18 games. Guys are not making it after a half. So this is the stuff that gets me up. I don't like BSers. I don't like fake stuff. I don't like false hope. Sorry. If it makes you feel better to hope something's going to happen, good for you. Congratulate you. I tip my hat off to you for being positive. Screw all that. That's a waste of time. You don't get shit accomplished hoping for shit to happen.
Once again, I did want to mention, if you're coming in late, the news we heard today officially that Christian Wood has undergone another surgery, as Alan astutely pointed out. This is another knee surgery for Christian Wood. He had arthroscopic knee surgery earlier today, and he'll be out about 8 weeks. Was announced by all the media personnel out there. So 8 weeks before he can really get back on track, and then we'll see what happens from there. Compounding the news that Mike Bresnahan of Spectrum Sportsnet reported last week, the very good possibility that Jared Vanderbilt may be out for a month, which would include training camp and the exhibition season as well, with his ailments. So that leaves the Lakers coming into camp, 2 individuals down, not very much maneuverability, no open roster slots, not very much money under the second tax apron to work with. Do you see a trade of desperation? Do you see those odds getting a little bit higher, Joe?
There's nothing the Lakers have that they can trade.
A package of Rui and Austin could
Rui
get
Austin for, let's say, a Jeremy Grant is you basically take 2 starters out for 1. Is that even a lateral move or a downgrade?
Oh, I don't like it. I told you I never liked Grant.
So let's look at it. That's a good question. Let's talk about it from a talent standpoint. Forget about the injuries and forget about that for a second. Let's look at.
But that's why I said desperation. Do you see Rob getting desperate?
He could be desperate all he wants. They have no leverage or assets. You can 29 and 31 don't mean anything, folks. What are you going to get? You can't get a player of significance with just draft picks.
Teams want 25, the 25 draft. That they know is a better odds on getting a good player. Which the Lakers don't have a draft pick in.
They don't have. Yeah, it's not. This is simply impossible. The only way Rob can get something this year is if a GM helps him. Does him a favor. And it looks like from what we've read the last few years, not a lot of people are too fond of Rob Pelinka.
Brian, Atlanta has the pick now, by the way. New Orleans does no longer has the pick. They used it in the DeJounte Murray trade and sent it over to Atlanta. That was the key pick and the key reason why Atlanta traded DeJounte Murray is because they got that Lakers pick.
If LeBron and AD look, let's talk about last year, then I'll go into this year. If LeBron and AD had gotten hurt once last year for a couple weeks, Lakers would not have made the playoffs.
Nope.
So it's a little bit worse this year because it's a year more for both after an Olympic run too, which I'm not against. I'm glad they went because they at least going to win something, and I want the U.S. to win gold every 4 years. It's part of pride. The Lakers will possibly get the play-in if they hit for 40% from 2 or 3 guys, and LeBron and AD don't have any debilitating injuries. LeBron missed 11 games, but that was maintenance misses. That's different. AD only missed 6 games. Was it 6 or 8 games? He played 76 or 74. I forgot.
As far as AD last year, I'll look it up.
He played 76, right?
Yeah, I think he played around that range.
76. So he only missed, and even those games were maintenance misses. There was never a injury.
No, there was never a sustained injury that either got that kept them out for.
So now the blame, the entire blame of last year is Darvin Ham. Not only for not beating Denver or getting a higher spot. It's all of a sudden Max Christie didn't do what he was supposed to do. I can name a few other things, but again, it's a waste of time at this point. The Lakers are hoping that everyone stays healthy. Yeah. And that LeBron and AD are going to be world beaters.
And that JJ could come in right away.
And then JJ is going to tap into everyone mentally and make them a better player based off of zero coaching experience. So I want you all to really absorb that, because I think we've been saying it, but I want to keep saying it until you really have it in here.
We keep getting told that we're wrong and that the Lakers are going to do this.
And we're right. We're right. We're not wrong. We've been right. And the last 2 days keeps adding more right. And it's not so that we can pat ourselves in the back like Barry Horowitz. This is what is presented. And this is part of the other Freudian thing that I was telling you about, Gerald, that there's this assumption that I got my comments because I got to be right. That's how buffoonery this whole situation is.
We want the Lakers to win.
I want the Lakers to win, asshole. I don't want them to lose. But they're not giving me any reason to believe they're going to win because they're not doing anything. So what? What do you want? You will forget. You will ignore and go away. That's what people do. They quit. They go away. No. I have the energy to handle this, so I'm not worried about myself. I have enough energy to get those arrows at me all day, every day. It won't affect me at all.
Darren says he's okay with JJ just working with the shooters to put around LeBron and AD. That's their only hope. But you had D'Angelo shoot 42%. Didn't you have Rui shoot 42%? If he can work with Dalton and Max and Austin and improve their shooting, Joe, while maintaining D'Lo and Rui shooting and LeBron shooting, that's a different story.
This team did not improve to help AD. They did not help to improve any rebounding. Folks, we saw the team healthy last year and hitting shots, and they still lost. Worse than the year before when they weren't shooting as well and weren't as healthy. Why? Because they can't get a freaking rebound. And they did nothing to improve that. Not even one player. It's so bad that they're talking about a player that they couldn't get and in hopes of thinking they can probably get that player during the draft, during the deadline. Valanciunas. How are you going to get Valanciunas? You're going to give up a 29 and 31 pick for Valanciunas now? No. You're not giving up your future for a backup center. You needed a backup center through free agency or in some kind of trade. Starter, too, but it looks like the Lakers just don't want to not start AD at the center. So I'm going to say Valanciunas would have been the perfect backup to AD. However that played out, whether he was starting and AD started at the 4, doesn't matter. The Lakers desperately needed a backup for AD and maybe somebody who can freaking rebound with him. And they didn't solve that problem at all, and that was the issue, folks. That right there is what's been killing the Lakers. Offensive rebounds on both sides. They did not address those one bit. And now you're going to have to rely on AD and Jackson Hayes. Or you're going to have to rely on JJ Redick being able to total recall players like D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura to not only guard on the perimeter, but also crash the boards. You tell me, those who are knowledgeable in basketball, those who watched all 89 games last year, I want you guys to tell me which player or players are going to be able to do that because J.J. Redick's on the bench.
Alan, I think that Jonas wanted the security of 3 years. He knows he's getting traded. He knows he's getting traded probably sooner than later, but he wanted the full 3 years on the contract because he is 32. But Joe, let me hear this out. Okay, if you have the choice as a general manager to sign Jonas right around $10 million a year, because that's what he's being paid, $10 million a year over 3 years, for $2 million less a year, you're going to sign Max Christie to a 4-year deal worth $32 million. but you could make the money work. You can make the logistics work by trading one of those minimum contracts away. What would you choose, Joe? Max Christie or Jonas Valanciunas?
Unfortunately, the way the system is set up, that they weren't going to be able to pay Valanciunas the money he got in Washington, even if they did want him.
Well, it's only $2 more million a year. So they could have done something with one of those back,
Sure, they could have maneuvered. They could have maybe maneuvered something there, but that would have likely meant that they would have to give up some kind of asset that they don't have
for a second rounder. Give up, yeah.
Do you think that would have? You don't think they
let's
could
just say? Let's just say you could have done it. Let's say you could have worked, that part. Would you rather have Jonas at 10 million or Max Christie at 8?
I mean, that's an easy answer. It's not even the question.
I know what I want. I would want.
Jonas. They needed Valanciunas was exactly what they needed.
Uh-huh.
They needed that guy, and that guy is not unattainable, folks. A lot of times it's that. I think the frustrating thing is you look at the Celtics, and they were competing for the last 5 years, and they still were able to get someone like Holiday. Dr. Buss used to always say, we'll figure it out. But these guys are not good enough, guys. Rob Pelinka is terrible. He's worse than terrible. He doesn't belong in a general manager position. He doesn't belong making basketball decisions. He's a fake. He's a used car salesman. He built an agency. He went to Michigan. Yeah, he was successful, was a basketball player in Michigan. I'm sure he's a good family man. But guys, just because you're good at certain things doesn't mean you're going to be good at other things. I mean, Magic Johnson is a basketball savant, but I wouldn't have him near a basketball operation position. Not because I don't want him to, but it's because look what he's done.
Darren's saying that this has to be a breakout year for Max Christie. So define that. Help Darren define that. I know you owe Darren a drink, by the way. I'll just remind you that.
I'll be right back.
What is a breakout year for Max Christie? What does that look like? He averaged 4 points last year, 35% shooting from the field, 42% overall, averaged just under assists a game and 2 rebounds a game in 67 games. So what is needed by this team as far as a breakout season? So Rough Artist says 15, 5, and 5. So that would be a breakout season. Allen says 10 points per game and good defense. What's up, Laker Girl? Check out Laker Girl. Give her a like and subscribe. I know she does some good work out there. I know Eric is there on the channel from time to time. So go ahead and check out her great shows as well. That's the problem, though. What is a breakout year for Max Christie? That is the problem. I think a lot of people like Joe and I, we do not think that he can have to that level consistently. You're talking about one extreme to the next, but I hope we're wrong. As Joe gets out the JD for Darren, we didn't forget you, my friend. Yeah, she was in the Xbox. She was in the YouTube comments. So yeah, it just simple as that, Joe. What is a breakout year for you for Max Christie?
Starter.
Okay.
Can he be a starter?
Because 10 points a game does not do it for me.
Salute to Darren.
10 points a game does not help you enough, especially with Christian Wood out the lineup. That's not going to get it done. You need something more. You need him to be you need him to be someone that the other team fears when he comes to the game. You need somebody that they program or look at as far as he's a threat from the other side. Right now, he is not a threat to the other team at this point in time. He is still too slight. gets easily moved off. He does play hard on defense, but he does get driven by because he's not strong enough to keep in front of them. And then his shooting has to be above more than 35%. And if it isn't that, then we're right back where we started, Joe.
Yes, Richard, they all need a breakout, although I don't know how much more Reeves can do. I think Reeves has tapped his talent, which
he was an undrafted player. You guys got to remember
he's
that.
done all he can. Rui has improved. Rui is looking good this offseason. I would say if Rui can hit the layups when it matters, that was the big issue with the Denver series with him. He couldn't hit inside that 2 feet, man. It absolutely killed the Lakers. You already had to deal with that with LeBron, but at least LeBron can make it up with more activity there, whereas Rui absolutely killed. Oof.
I think of the three, you're probably going to have to say Reeves getting to be a 40% three-point shooter. I think it's the thing that I think that can break out the most.
I don't think it matters, folks. I don't think everyone can shoot 40% on this team at this point. It's not going to matter unless they can get rebounds. The rebounding is absolutely killing the Lakers. These comebacks that the Denver Nuggets were making, it's because they couldn't secure a rebound. And yeah, that would be the breakout. That would be the game changer for the Lakers. If they start the first month showing that they can rebound, then something happened that J.J. Redick tapped into. The collapse, the ability to balance the court, and still, are these guys going to have enough energy? We know LeBron can't do that. He's too old. AD can, but you also got to give him some rest because he's not only getting rebounds and guarding 15 guys at once. He's got to play hard for all that to work, and you got to give him rest. If AD was able to play 34 minutes a game for 70 games and know that he doesn't have to worry about playing 40 minutes regularly, that would go a long way. But you would have to have somebody there that could back him up for 14 minutes. But they don't have that. They don't have anybody that could back him up for 5 minutes right now. Jackson Hayes, I'd say right now, if Jackson Hayes isn't the X factor next year, the Lakers are going to be in a world of hurt.
And that could be the issue, but right now they will not have, at least going into training camp, most likely, according to Mike Bresnahan from Spectrum Sportsnet, and then also it was reported today on major news outlets, Jared Vanderbilt and Christian Wood. So, Joe, if anybody else gets hurt, my friend, that's not a good sign for the Lakers heading into the season.
We played that game all year last year. And then you also had a dinkus at head coach who supposed to be this tough guy who was really a tulip.
Kurt says, what two-way players do you think will be relied on more? Castleton? Annie Hinson?
Neither. Lakers have no two-way players that'll make a difference. They barely have a bench that can make a difference.
Darren says, I'm for promoting Hinson from day one. A guy, terrible. We talked about Connect being terrible. We talked about Maxwell Lewis being terrible on the defensive end. Hinson was the worst of all three of them, guys. Get real. Did you not see him on one end of the floor? And the guy shoots. He has not seen a shot he hasn't liked. I'll give you that. And he can fill it up. But man, if he misses like three pointers in a row, you guys are going to be screaming for him to sit back on the bench. And he can do that. He'll go like 0 for 3, and then he'll go like 3 for 3. He gets really hot and cold, and he'll still keep firing away at it. And that's just who he is. But I don't know if he has a future in the league because he simply cannot guard anyone that I saw in summer league, and I mean anyone. Castleton may have to play out of necessity at this point.
There might be a possibility where they have to play him. If AD gets hurt or if Jackson Hayes gets hurt, it could be pretty bad.
And he's 25, I think. If I'm not mistaken. Castleton is like in his mid-20s already. So he is not getting a whole lot better at this point, Joe. And I remember last year when he played against Sengun for a few short minutes, and that was like a man among boys there. It was not good. It was not pretty. And Castleton, again, nice player from the G League standpoint, but I don't know if he'll ever make that leap into a consistent player. If Jay Huff didn't work out for the Lakers, I don't think Castleton will either. I thought Jay Huff was a little bit better player. And as we're seeing, he still is getting minutes in games on other teams. Castleton, as of now, again, he might play out of necessity, but not good. Oh, Moses Brown. I think
I wasn't thinking that we would talk about the Castletons and the Hinsons in this.
At this point, what can you expect? Because the Lakers just have.
I didn't really. I was thinking at this
it's
point
that bad on the bench.
We can discuss the replacements of someone like Vando and Christian Wood. The replacements, sadly, would be more Max Christie and possibly playing Connect more because you're going to need to. And then Jackson Hayes being the backup center who we would need to play probably 20 minutes a game if you don't have Christian Wood. It's either that or run AD for 40 minutes, 38 to 42 minutes.
Alan's got a good question. Who is the backup power forward?
Connect.
Rui, LeBron, they back up each other at power forward?
Sure. When LeBron's not playing point guard.
Yeah. So this is a team very bad in depth that Rob has created.
Reddish would be nice to talk about. I just don't know if he's going to play well at all.
I mean, there was that last November, Eric, where he, on the defensive end, was doing well enough to keep himself out there. He had led the league in steals, I think, at that time, just before he got hurt. But you saw how badly he was from the outside, and you saw that he can't even drive to the balls in the basket. It was almost like Westbrook, actually worse than Westbrook. It was ugly. His drive to the basket, Joe, I think is probably one of the worst I've ever seen last year. The way he was driving the ball to the basket with zero confidence. He was swinging his arms left to right to try and avoid the traffic. Yeah, it was really bad last year. So maybe he's turned his career around. JJ can work some magic with him, but man, we're reaching pretty far in order to try and make something out of nothing.
Vanderbilt's not going to start the season healthy. Christian Wood, if his knee gets better, he's not going to. Well, let's say he's a full recovery in 2 months, or he's being reevaluated in 2 months. Correct? 8 weeks. Okay, so you start the year off with two of your guys whom are already part of the rotation that are not going to be there on a team that's already thin in terms of depth. So who's going to replace Christian Wood? Jackson Hayes is going to play more minutes, probably, maybe. And then Vando is now there's another the one perimeter defender that you have is not going to be available on a team that's suffering already from having perimeter defenders. So now you're going to need Max Christie and Mr. Connect to pull that weight.
Brian Green
That's your
says,
solution right now.
Brian Green says, come on, guys, it's time to rebuild. LeBron was drafted 21 years ago. It's time for a new franchise player. Well, Lakers don't even have a draft choice next year, so they would have to trade one of their franchise players probably in order to get a number
I think
one
it's
draft
time
pick.
to focus on what this team is going to do. What is this team going to do with its current construction? We cannot assume if they weren't able to make anything happen when they could have made it happen, what makes you think they're going to make this run this year happen? Because teams that are going to trade players before the deadline are looking for capital, draft capital. The Lakers don't have it. And even if they do use the little that they have in 50 years, are you really going to trade it for a role player? Is there going to be a third star? This is the better question. Is there going to be a third star that's disgruntled? Not a third star like a Giannis. No, that's never going to happen. But I'm saying like a guy that could be the third star that team would be willing to trade to LA. That would be more of a legitimate question.
JY says, what's the expectation for your Lakers in your guys' opinion? And sounds like the lottery team from Joe's perspective. Well, it's not getting off to a great start, JY. And I don't want to say it's a lottery team as of yet, which we don't even have because we don't even have a lottery pick in our possession for next year. Our pick is going to Atlanta. But I don't see, it's just so many ifs, so many things have to go right. So many things went right for the Lakers last year with health and 3-point accuracy. And still the Lakers had the season that they had. And now you're asking with a whole bunch of Western Conference teams that did things to improve. And the Lakers just stood pat for things to get better. That's the problem. As more injuries pile up, Joe, that's the problem. We just don't have the ability to change on the fly like other teams.
The Lakers have a favorable start, and they haven't had that for a few years. Minnesota's a tough team. I'm not saying the first game isn't going to be tough, but they have a break pretty early. And where they have games kind of spread out. Phoenix, I think, is next a few days later. And then they got to travel to Phoenix not a few days after that. They get that Phoenix thing out of the way kind of early, which it's kind of funny. I would rather have Phoenix later because of that, the travel. We haven't dissected the schedule yet. We will in future shows. We're not there yet. I remember last year we figured out there was a stretch where the Lakers didn't leave the West Coast for a month.
Yeah.
And
they didn't take advantage of it. It was in
They
January.
didn't take advantage of it because you had a schmuck at head coach who didn't value games to the point where had they valued games, the Lakers may have put themselves in a position where they didn't have to go to Denver. And if you look at the statistics, it's very difficult to win championships when you start on the road in the first round, because that means you're probably going to play on the road for the next 3 rounds. Only one team in 33 years has done that.
Can't believe I'm saying this, Joe, but Scottie Pippen Jr. has done a lot of things since he's left the Lakers that I didn't think he was capable of. And he's still small, but the kid is actually going to earn a spot on the Memphis Grizzlies team. He's already got one, in my estimation, and might play a nice rotational role for them as a backup point guard. Would you rather have him at this point on a cheaper salary than Gabe Vincent on his?
No. Scottie Pippen Jr. is not good enough. Sorry. I commend him for improving, but no.
Okay.
Gabe Vincent's a better player than Scottie Pippen Jr.
We'll see if that pans out. Last year didn't work out like that, but hopefully Gabe Vincent can actually be on the court to prove You're right on that.
I don't. The focus is on competing for a championship. I'm not interested in players that can make a roster.
JHS, do you think he can break out?
JHS was a bad pick from the beginning before we even saw him at Summer League. That was a bad pick. And it made it worse considering who was there that they could have picked. He is a terrible NBA skilled player. Lateral movement matters in the NBA today. If you don't have lateral movement either on defense or on offense, you are not going to benefit anyone. You may make a roster, you may play a little, but you're not going to make a difference. You think you really want JHS to be guarding someone like Jamal Murray when it matters, or Scottie Pippen Jr.? Jamal Murray will eat those guys, shit them out, and still score over them twice. Folks, I need you to focus on what I'm saying. I don't think a lot of you are understanding what I'm saying. You have LeBron James and Anthony Davis on this team. That means you're trying to compete for a championship, correct? That's why you're paying them $60 million each, $50 million each. Are we here to win a championship or to have Dr. Doolittle and his little minions? Because if you're not competing for a championship and you tie $110 million out of the $180 million in cap space, what are you doing? And give me a legitimate reply to that. All you positive Nancys, give me an answer that makes sense. Scottie Pippen Jr. and JJ. Who cares? Who cares? These guys are not going to do anything for you. Can you figure out another way? No. We know the system. We know what the Lakers can do because there's rules. They put themselves in this position because they managed their roster so terribly that they're stuck. They had to ask LeBron that, what was it, $45,000 less? Whatever the hell it was, $1 million? For what? So that they can give his son a 3-year guaranteed contract? Wouldn't it have just been easier for him to give him money? But I'm the wrong one. I'm the negative one. I'm the one that smells horse shit, yet I'm supposed to smell roses, right? Oh, you're a hater, Joe. Hater to what? I don't give a damn about LeBron James and whatever he does. Outside, wherever he is, the decision, Akron, even though every time I hear something about Cleveland and he's from Akron, like, what's the difference? It's like saying, hey, I'm here for San Francisco, but I was born in Sacramento. I care about the Lakers winning. And when there's an issue there, I'm going to talk about it. I don't give a shit about who LeBron James is. I don't care. I don't care about who he is. If you're not going to be about winning championships, yet you're saying it, I'm going to call you out. I'm going to call everybody out. I don't care who it is. Because you're all liars. You're all fake. You're all busters to me. And most people are. And I'm sick of it. I've been sick of it for 10, 15 years. Tired of it. You go on any social media now, all these stupid-ass idiots with their filters and their fake horse crap. No. Never. No. I'm going to be on here, and I'm going to keep saying it until they prove me wrong. Prove us wrong. Show us that Rui Hachimura is going to be that guy. Show me that Max Christie's going to be that guy. Right now, I've seen shit. Why is it going to change all of a sudden in a year? This is basketball. This isn't where basketball players are very easy to scout. They're not that hard. You're either about it or you're not. So what? Tell me. Give me the info, folks. Tell me why I'm wrong.
And on that note, it has been the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Good crowd tonight.
That was the fastest 90 minutes I think I can remember on a show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because usually I'm like ready to bounce, but I don't know. I feel like
maybe it's the drink.
Actually, I don't think that's it. That was the only sugar I've had today.
Okay.
For those of you who don't think sugar is devastating to the body, right now you're seeing the results of it. My God, that stuff takes you out.
Okay.
I've been passing out during the day the last few weeks. Today, I haven't felt tired at all. I haven't had one up until that shot. I hadn't had one drip of sugar today. Sugar is the freaking devil, man. Enough salt is okay, Mark, because you'll get headaches if you don't have enough sodium.
And on that note, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. We'll be back this week with more episodes. Also, Inside Sports.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that, sports baby. Repeating in the NBA right now is getting very difficult, especially if Embiid is healthy going into the playoffs, I should say, and having Paul George is going to help him. I'm telling you right now, if Embiid doesn't have like a catastrophic injury, he hasn't really had a catastrophic injury. He's just been hurt towards the end. But that's because he's been carrying that team with Maxey. But having Paul George there is going to help. Philly, watch out for Philly. And I say this because they got Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse knows what he's doing. Nick Nurse, in my book, is top 3 coach in the NBA right now.
And on that note, it is again the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Gerald Glassford and Joe Sorrell. Thanks so much again for watching this thing. You can always become a member of our Lakers Fast Break community for just $2.99 a month. You get special emojis, and I was asked to go ahead and make another one. I will try to make one of the Army Cut, I think you called it, Xbox of Joe. I will try to see if we can do that. And I will also see if I can always update it with more emojis, badges, and a whole bunch of good stuff there for you. Plus, you get calls.
Sticking badges.
Yeah, there you go. You get a call out from us at the beginning of the show. If you're a member today, $2.99 a month.
You get a yay
from us. Yes. And who knows? We might even add more stuff in there in the future for you. Just to make it more attractive for you. So we'll see what happens. But big shout out to everyone out there that's been watching, listening. Any last thoughts, Joe, before we head on out?
Last thoughts.
It's a good idea, Kurt. A members only call-in.
I mean, I think that would work if we had 18,000 subs.
Mm-hmm.
But right now we're still small, and we're small because we're not putting up fake breaking news crap, clickbaity stuff on here, and we're not putting money towards fake subscriptions either. Fake. No, it's fake. Everything's fake. Boxing matches now are fake. I had to see highlights of Floyd Mayweather fight some douchebag who I didn't even know who the hell it was. I didn't even know if he was a boxer even. I mean, who's paying for this stuff? Just nonsense. Nonsense, the quality of things. You know, as much as I enjoyed the Steelers winning this week, that game, that product is just atrocious.
Oh, you don't like 6 field goals?
They took out, no, the 6 field goals were fine. It was the complete destruction of another TJ Watt game. The ref even admitted on the field that he screwed up on one of the plays, a stripped sack. TJ Watt has been robbed from 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards. And anytime this guy plays, I can't tell you, and he should have had he should not be tied for the sack lead of all time. He got everything just sucks. Everything just sucks. Quality of stuff is just shit. And we just justify it because we keep watching, and no, I don't know if we care.
Well, I appreciate it that everybody's here. Appreciate the
Justin Fields. So here, I got a chance to watch. I'm sorry to interrupt again, Gerald,
no
but guys are asking good questions and good comments. Look, guys, Justin Fields. How do I put this lightly? He's not good. He doesn't process well. His athleticism is off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
He can throw, he can run. Quarterback is about process. Can you process information quick and execute it with pressure? Not literal pressure, mental pressure, physical pressure, every kind of pressure, injury pressure. He just doesn't have it. As far as Caleb Williams is concerned, I've said, and I think I might have said this on our fantasy football show. I think there's going to be one quarterback in this draft that's going to probably be good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm predicting Daniels out in Washington. Everyone else is not going to be good. I think a little too many teams stretched for quarterbacks. Chicago didn't stretch. Caleb Williams has the physical traits, obviously, but that guy's going to turn into a pumpkin. Even if he has a good year this year, he's going to turn into a pumpkin in year 2 or 3.
Thank you for the super chat, Darren. Truly appreciate it. He says that Rui and Max is all we got. I think he's talking about chance for improving, really getting stronger. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I would personally put Dalton above Max. I think there's a better chance of him being a better individual as far as productivity wise. But again, you're paying Max $32 million over 4 years. You're paying him just under what you could have paid Jonas Valanciunas. So it is what it is right there. Just $2 million.
Training camp starts in 3 weeks or less.
Yeah.
We're going to get a chance to see the happy media day stuff and a bunch of interviews where everyone's slapping each other's hands.
Father and son.
And everyone's going to melt at how they're excited about that. And I guess I'll be the grumpy guy in the side going, that's nice. Yeah, are you going to win games, though? Are we going to start playing for top 4 seeds, or are we going to start playing for play-ins every year with the same bullshit?
Purgatory, Joe. Purgatory.
All the only power I have is the mouth. I don't have management access. I don't have media access. I don't want to have that anyways. I don't really care about any of that. But we have a show here, and I'm gonna give you the info that I'm seeing. That's all it is. I'm just interpreting what I'm seeing.
SB's asking if Aaron Rodgers is overrated.
No, guys, come on. Aaron Rodgers is arguably the greatest quarterback of his generation.
How much do you think that injury took away?
There's never really been, honestly, even the ones that have had somewhat comeback years. Let's use Durant as another guy. Dominique back in the 90s. Achilles, guys, once the Achilles busts, it's over. Doesn't matter who it is, especially for a quarterback. Geez, that's his plant foot. And he's got all that wear and tear of almost 19 years of football. Come on. No, sorry. Jets made the right call. They're giving it a shot. I'm not downgrading them going that way. They had the defense. They have a star running back in the making. They had a great draft the last few years. I think going after Aaron Rodgers was a smart move. Problem is going to San Francisco in game one for a team that's seasoned. It's probably not the good way to start. I think the NFL kind of threw the Jets in the fire on that one. But I'd say give those guys a minute here. Let's see what happens. You know, the guy hadn't played in 2 years, but it doesn't look good. They look better than the Giants, though.
Yeah. As we will probably remind our good friend, Mr.
Giants. Oh my God, your boy.
He is so.
Oh
so
my
mad.
God. Hey, look here.
He's so mad right now.
Let's put the silver lining on this. Carson Beck is going to be the first pick next year. Is anybody going to argue against that? Especially if he wins the national title, which Georgia looks freaking amazing right now.
Yeah.
How about this? Here's a question I got for you all. If you're Bill Belichick, for those of you who don't know, Bill Belichick is a giant legend. 1986, 1990, he was the defensive coordinator that essentially stopped probably the two most potent offenses ever. And they ended up going on and winning Super Bowls that year. If you're Bill Belichick, let's say the Giants are the worst team next year and they get the first pick. You know they're getting a quarterback. And then you have the Bills who come up short again. And Bills decide to go another way. Which job does Bill Belichick take? Do you take the Buffalo job where you know you've got for sure Allen for the next, let's say, 5 years if he coaches another 5 years, which he could? Or do you go back and break the all-time winning record and maybe start a new run with your the team you should have coached after Parcells retired in 90? That might be the best story next year in the NFL. That's a story that I think, much like how the Aaron Rodgers thing was last year, I think that's a cool story for next year. Which team would he choose?
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. As I'm posting on Joe's site, Lockside247 at LakersBall.com. I'm just on there right now, Joe, just reminding them that we are the best Lakers show that's out there. Again, 400,000 views. Thank you to everyone out there.
It wasn't
200,000. I take personal.
Oh, and that's why I said it. I wanted you to hear it.
200,000 audio downloads.
And I wanted the crowd to hear it. Someone's interpretation of success. What's success? Is success 90 subscribers when you arrive and then 1,800 after 3 years? Some can look at that as not a success. Ever been in a room with 1,800 people? It's a lot of people. And Joe Rogan, for the first 5 years, this is on record, he didn't have anybody listen to his show. His friends were making fun of him. Life is about, we hear the stories of the quick win, right? You got all these yahoos on social media. Oh, look, I bought a bunch of stuff from Walmart, turned into a millionaire in 4 days. Guys, that's like winning the lottery, okay? That happens like 1 out of a billion. And they make it look like anybody can do it because that's the scam. They get you to believe that. Just like the whole Amazon thing. You have any idea? You got to be a brain surgeon to do things on Amazon and really make that kind of money. The amount of freaking red tape you got to get through to sell anything on there. Go ask my buddy Vaughn, man. That guy had And that guy's relentless. And even he was like, dude, I've been at this for 3 years, man. These guys just drown you. But you only hear the story of when it works. A lot of times things are about timing. It's not about, oh, what you know, how you know. A lot of it is timing. So we're going to be here until this thing hits. And if it means getting 1,800 subs every 3 years, well, we'll get to 10,000 in the next, 10 years?
Could be less.
We'll still get there. I'm pretty healthy. I'm not going anywhere. So, yeah, it's to put a button on today's show, I'm curious to see what else is going to come out here in the next few weeks. It's interesting that it came out the last couple days versus why aren't there any questions about why someone like Christian Wood, who's essentially he's got a list of revenge on who? Yourself? If anybody needs revenge, it's yourself. You need to revenge yourself. What has anyone else done? Was it Jason Kidd? Are you still mad about that? What revenge tour are you going? And Yahoos online that are cracking on you for doing nothing?
Yeah. Gotcha.
We have to ask the right questions when you're inquisitive. What exactly is your revenge tour? And if you have a revenge tour that you've started, how do you have a revenge tour and all of a sudden
need knee surgery?
You need knee surgery now in September. Why isn't anyone asking why he couldn't have this in June or April or May?
I just thought it was so funny because it's actually Vengeance Tour. I know I started the revenge thing, but it is to use as actual correct quote. It is Vengeance Tour. So he's going to be seeking vengeance for what happened to you.
Did anybody ask him who?
Maybe his therapist. I don't know.
See, these are the questions we have to ask, folks. But no one's going to ask them because they don't want to start stuff, right? Ask the questions. Who are you vengeful against? Oh, the media. They said that we couldn't do it. The media? What media? The Lakers shut down any media that says anything about them. Is it social media? All the clowns that just go on Twitters and yap? Those guys? That's your revenge? You're worried about those people? Who gives a shit about those people? Those people a lot of them are bots, just starting shit. How about Laker fans who have been forced to watch you attempt to play? Can you back us up? We've wasted our life watching you do nothing. What about our revenge? Somebody ask him that question. I'll ask it to him.
I'll tell you what, we will find out what's going to go on in the coming days and weeks to see who else might not be coming into training camp healthy.
See this right here? Like Arsenio Hall back in the day? I'm not going to say I told you so, but the finger's going to come out.
Oh, I will say I told you so.
No, that's your thing. That you go with it. The key here is God help you in December if what we are seeing develops.
I want to be wrong. I want to be proven wrong.
I want the Lakers to go 52-30.
62-20 would be even better.
Yeah, great. But the NBA is too mediocre now. They're not going to let – you have to be off the charts like the Celtics right now. You
I don't know.
have
OKC
to.
might be like that this year.
Yeah. Again, Celtics had the first run from an East team since the Bulls in '98, where they ran the table from beginning to end. Remember, we were talking about that for a few years now. How the East, even the LeBron teams, they had to struggle to beat the Celtics in 12 and struggle to beat the Spurs in the 2013 finals. Whereas the Celtics didn't struggle at all year in any round. I know they got the path of no injuries, but they played a very hot Dallas team that was rolling people over, and they made Kyrie Irving look like a fifth-rate chump. And Missoula basically said, just let Doncic shoot from three. And he did. And he made the shots. But they took everyone out, including Kyrie. And they knew they would. They knew. All they have to do is attack Kyrie on the defensive end, and his mojo kind of goes away. Defense always feeds the offense and vice versa. I'm not saying that Kyrie ever was a shutdown type player on defense, but they ran that guy off the court on offense, whether they were shooting or getting to the basket, and he had no energy to come back. They absolutely – it was one of the biggest failures. And, of course, it had to happen after LeBron was practically creaming himself on Twitter over him. It's almost like he put the Maloik on him.
Adam says – where did he put that? Adam says that it's not a big deal in regards to Wood being hurt now because he should be coming back right at the start of the season, according to reports out there. Well, didn't we learn this last season with Jared Vanderbilt? He was already hurt when he signed that extension. When he was playing in training camp, he was hurt. He was out for weeks, came back, didn't go so well after a short period of time, and went right back and never came back onto the court again after getting hurt once again. So it's just not a good way to start off your season if you're already hurting. Those things just don't work out always that well.
When your season is defined by a shovel, it's not good.
And it's the knees. It's not like it's a finger or if it's an elbow or something else. It's the knees.
And Mark, winning the chip matters, especially for the Lakers, and especially when you have Anthony Davis and LeBron James making $110 million. See, that's the part. Now, if the Lakers were competing and were losing in 7 against a phenomenal Dallas team that made a shot that mattered towards the end in Game 7, that's a whole different ballgame. That's why we weren't negative after the Western Conference run, even though they got swept. We were not negative. We were like, cool, okay. They kind of played above expectations. Let's see what they can do next. But
yeah,
a lot of it was – a lot of the disdain of the organization it seeps into the personal side, the motives of weak people. Jeannie and Rob, then they're nice people. They go with the flow. They don't really have a what's the word? They're going to go with the flow. They're going to go with what's popular to avoid confrontation. See, then you have somebody like Jerry West, and even on Lakers ball, somebody tried to diss on Jerry West for being an a-hole. I'm like, I really wanted to get off, but I didn't want to make the mods. I didn't want to put the mods in a position where they had to tell us to stop. I don't like doing that because I love those guys. But I want to say, you can be an a-hole all you want when you captain what Jerry West is captain. Jerry West is captain.
The results speak for themselves.
2 dynasties. What the hell have you done? What the hell have these schmucks done?
Adam Hurley says he's predicting that people are going to be surprised at how big a role Woods is going to play this year. Didn't we say the same thing last year when a lot of people were so excited? We did a show. Remember, we did an episode the day they signed him as one of our largest volume episodes in and around that time period. People were so excited for Christian Wood and the role he was going to play last year, and didn't quite work out that way, Joe, did it? And now we're expecting more of him this year.
I'm even saying I'm going to give November to you guys. Not you guys, like I'm talking to those who are living on cloud nine. I'm going to give you till December. I'll give you till December.
You heard it here.
And if that team is whack,
it's on.
And if you think the Venom is bad now, I'm not going to really criticize the Lakers. It's going to be criticizing the chumps who said stupid things to me. Because you all need to know. Now it's time that the finger goes to you. Because you don't know what's going on, or you refuse to admit on what's going on. And then if I'm wrong, if you're wrong, I will be right here with eating a fake crow, whatever it is that you're going to, whatever I got to do. But I don't, basketball is a very easy sport to diagnose. And if you don't have somebody who can rebound besides one guy, and you need at least 2 or 3 guys against these elite teams in this conference, I don't know how you're going to convince me that all of a sudden they're going to start rebounding. So we're going to see.
Once again, it is Joe Soro and me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching this thing. We went 2 hours for you guys tonight. Tomorrow, not sure if we're going to have a fast break. I know we will have an Inside Sports Fantasy Football. At least if there is news, we'll have a fast break for you as well. But JSG. Why not? Having a Lakers Fast Break membership is a good thing. It's only $2.99 a month. You can give it away as a holiday gift, which is what Xbox has been doing. He's been giving some memberships away, and it's truly appreciated. So hopefully you guys can go ahead and get the access to those emojis, those badges, and big shout outs from all of us right here. The Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you doing so. So big shout out again to Xbox, to everybody out there that's a big member. But Joe, it's been a great show. Unfortunately, the Vengeance Tour for Christian Wood is on hold. But to our members, Sports Baby, Richard, Bloodhound, and Xbox, and to everyone else out there, truly cannot thank you enough for watching this thing. Any final thoughts before we head on out?
Go Lakers.
Okay. Go Lakers indeed. We'll see if we can get them to go, and keep those fingers crossed that there's not going to be another injury update. You had one on Friday. You had one on Monday. Good God, I hope there's not going to be any more, but we'll see. If there is.
That's like asking for a real Santa Claus. Does it exist?
You're awesome.
Does Santa Claus really exist for some of you?
Thank you, Darren, for becoming a member. Truly appreciate it. He's been a great follower of ours on both audio and now video. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate it. Again, it's $2.99 a month out there, everyone.
Well, you got to be 18 to have a membership, right?
I don't think so. There's not anything inappropriate on it.
I was trying to get us away from
Cool Bro, but Cool Bro's asleep right now, so.
Yeah, but I don't want to hang out with any high school kids. I didn't want to hang out with high school kids when I was in high school, let alone now.
Okay, fair enough.
High school kids the only high school kid I want to hang out with is my own kid. That's it. Other than that, yeah, no thanks.
I'll tell you what, though, we are truly appreciative of Darren, Xbox, Bloodhound, everyone out there. Richard,
That was for
Sports
you,
Baby.
Jay.
Yep, absolutely. Truly appreciate you being members of the Lakers Fast Break. And we will be back for more great stuff this week. Again, anything happens, injury updates, or any news on the Lakers, you know we're always going to bring it to you at the very popular Lakers Fast Break podcast. There's no one better that does it than us right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast.